material in 14 years. We're going to speak to Sir Cliff in just a moment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. First of all, should we just have a listen to the newest single, which is Rise Up? Morning, Sir Cliff.
Good morning, Sir Cliff.
So that's Rise Up, and we've just been chatting. You said the people who wrote that for you also wrote my favourite Cliff Richard song ever, Devil Woman.
Terry Britton wrote Devil Woman. This time he collaborated with someone called Graham Lyle, who used to be part of a duo, Gallagher and Lyle, and they had a couple of really smashing records, big hits in the, I don't know, 70s, 80s.
And that song says a lot for you, doesn't it?
When they sent it to me, they obviously had written it for me because of the situation I had come out of. So for me to actually get in the studio and say, they're never going to break me down, it was fantastic, and I could sing it with real, not venom exactly, but I felt triumphant to think that I'd actually survived it all.
What have those last 4 years been like? Has it been the toughest part of your career, of your life?
Yes, I would say it's the worst part. It's something that I could never have expected. You know, when you spend your whole life, you know, I've been called the Christian goody two-shoes and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, I tried to live as honourable and as honest a life as one could live. So when this thing came at me, I thought, oh my, this could ruin everything I've tried to do. Anyway, it didn't work. And I'm fine.
How important have friends and really close friends been throughout that time?
Oh, vital. Absolutely vital. When that accusation first came through, I was in Portugal, and I had friends, about 6 or 7 friends were coming to stay, and they all emailed me and said, look, this is horrible news, you probably want to be on your own. And I emailed back saying, please, no, I do not want to be on my own. They came, we laughed a lot, we played tennis, we dined a lot, and but the thing is, of course, what can't be taken away is the fact that once you go to bed and you close your eyes, you're on your own. But I never was. I was never on my own because I still have a spirituality, and in fact, it's grown since all this happened to me.
And actually, because of what's happened to you, you now think there should be a change in the law, don't you?
Well, it's a fight that we have to make. I didn't realise. Now I know there's an army of us who have been falsely accused. And being named is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I just discovered, you know, Magna Carta, King John said, all of us are innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law. All we're saying is, don't name anybody until the police think they have enough evidence to prosecute. They charge you. It then may take 2 years anyway. A lot of people say, well, we need to get more people coming forward. Well, they've got 2 years to come forward. But in the meantime, they smeared my name around the planet. I mean, I believe it takes seconds only to go to Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, everywhere I've ever been. That's what really shook me up. And that's what... It didn't make me feel suicidal, but I felt I'd wasted my whole life trying to be different.
Can I ask you one more question? Because I want to talk to you about the new music as well. You talked there about the fact that it has strengthened your faith these last 4 years. Obviously, a big part of your Christian walk as well is that, you know, the power of forgiveness. Do you feel that you are able to forgive those who put you in that situation?
I did. In fact, funnily enough, the worst day was that I had gone with my sister and some friends to visit the guy that made me make wine. Actually, he's an Australian guy, and he runs a company up in the about hour and a half north of where I am. We decided to go and have lunch with him that day. That's when the news broke. We were going to stay 4 days and have a look around this medieval place. In the end, we came back the following day. I got back, and in that evening, I collapsed. I've never fainted, never. But something happened, and I felt my legs weren't strong enough to hold me, and I fell on the floor. I was weeping. Fortunately, I had some friends who had decided to still be there. They got me up and said, look, you didn't do this. You can get by it. We can get by it, they said. So it was a terrible shock to the system. But forgiving, that night when I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. And for 4 years nearly, I probably averaged 3 hours sleep a night.
Really?
But I woke up in the first night and I thought, I can't do this anymore because I'm feeling hate, I want revenge. And I thought, this is going to kill me if I'm thinking like that. So I said, God, please, let me just say the words, I forgive him. He may have all sorts of reasons for doing this. You're not talking about a boy now, you're talking about a man probably in his 45s, 50s. So he knew what he was doing, and it was going to damage me forever, really. And although I'm past it, will I ever forget it? Never.
You say you'd never fainted before. And, you know, in your decades in show business and travelling around the world, you have always been physically unbelievably robust, haven't you? Having been through what you've been through, how do you keep well? How do you keep your health?
Well, when I'm in Portugal, for instance, I play tennis 3 times a week with a coach who runs me ragged. And, of course, he's a coach, so I can only get him in the middle of the day. All his customers want to play in the morning and the afternoon and evening. So he said, I can only come at 2. Well, this last year, of course, you know how hot the summer was. I was playing tennis in 90 degrees, but that's fine for me. He makes me run, I'm jumping, I'm leaping, and my heart's pumping, blood's racing. I think that tennis has been a big help for me. And I try to use the gym. I don't know about you, but I find the gym really boring. So I force myself to go in the gym sometimes, just because.
We said we're going to talk about music. I cannot believe that this is album number 104. Is there somewhere in you talk about Portugal, is there somewhere in your house somewhere that you've got all the other 103 albums?
No, I've got a few of them, but I've had to have some of them changed from the vinyl to a CD. And the magic thing about CD is it's got this, the property it has that's valuable is that it takes into it whatever you put on it. So if you like the sound of vinyl, which lots of people do, you get somebody to clean the vinyl up and transfer it onto a CD, and it'll be your vinyl playing, but perfect version of it.
I think they're going to play my favourite song now. Are they going to? I can
No.
hear my.
Are we doing Devil Woman or are we doing Reborn? What are we going to do? Okay.
I'm
So
going to play.
it's just because you're here, I think.
Just
so.
because I'm here, they've got my favourite ever Cliff song, which we're going to play now. But this album that we're talking about is you've used new writers, haven't you? Not just the guys who wrote this for you.
Well, I heard you mention earlier that this is the first time in 14 years that I've made an album of brand new songs. And it's only because we didn't have the ability to sell music to the radio stations. The airplay disappeared for people like me. So I made records that were famous songs that people would already know.
And will the fans listen to this and recognise the music, you know, as Cliff music?
I think they will. I have a friend of mine, she runs my Facebook page for me. She's been a fan of mine for a long time, so she's slightly biased, but she said, I've been waiting for the album. I finally got the album. She said, I love it. Now I'm going to have to play it 2 or 3 times more because I think I need to find my favourite. And at the moment, I can't find a favourite. They're all favourites. So, you know, all artists are the same. Whether you're a singer, dancer, actor, whatever, you present what you do and you just hope that enough people will like it.
And you're going on tour next year as well? Got a few dates lined up?
It's an encore of the tour I did this year.
Right.
Because I was celebrating my 60th year, and it went really well, and we got lots of messages saying, well, some people missed it, we couldn't see it. So it's the Diamond Encore Tour. So it's still the Diamond 60 years aspect, but I'll change a lot of it. For instance, I did Christmas songs on the last one. I want to remove the Christmas songs and then fill that with other hits that I've had in the past.
We're almost out of time. Just one quick question for you. What's the craziest thing a fan has ever done? Because I know they are loyal.
One thing that comes to mind is when I was in Edinburgh once at the Usher Hall, this big box arrived. Now people give us gifts, and it's really nice that fans can think of buying you a tie or whatever. Anyway, this box arrived, and I thought, oh my goodness, somebody sent me a television set because they carried it in. I put it down. Anyway, I opened it up, and this girl went, "Can I have your autograph?" Well, I nearly died.
It was a girl.
So she was in the
She
box.
had got her boss. Boss knew that she was a fan. He got her all sorted out, delivered her in the back of the van or whatever it was, and brought it into the Usher Hall. That's the most shocking and surprising one.
Did she get an autograph? Did you give her an autograph?
No, I slapped her.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you on.
My pleasure.
And
Thank you.
Sir Cliff's new album is called Rise Up, which is quite fitting because the girl was rising up as well. Thank you very much for coming and
My
speaking
pleasure.
so honestly with us
Thank
as well.
you.
Thank you. Now,